Hi guys, Gary here. Welcome back to the channel. I'm here to let you know that the Busbar system is finally finished. It took several days, a few hours here and there to get it done, but it's finally done. I wanted to drop in and give you this introduction to explain why there are 5 videos. Very simply, I recorded a lot of content. I even tried speeding a lot of it up by time-lapsing, but there was still over an hour of content there, and I didn't want you to be stuck watching Busbar installation for over an hour. To me, that would be a little tiresome. So I've broken it down as best I could into bite-sized chunks, and I've set them up as essentially chapters. So you'll see them in the title, but very quickly, the first video is going to be about my thought process, going out to the cabinets, out to the inverter, out to the batteries, and doing what I normally do on my own, something I generally wouldn't record, but my thought process is there for all to see now. So if for nothing else, please like the video for that. And if you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button. I'm going to have a lot more content coming this way. The second video is about setting up the fuses and the Busbar connections. I'm not going to tell you where all those are. You'll have to watch the video to see where I set everything up, because that was what racked my brains the most, where to actually put the bus bars. The third video is what I believe to be the most important video. It's where all the final connections are made and where the batteries are finally connected to the bus bar and to the inverter and tested to the batteries. The fourth one is where you'll get additional content. This is me adding the third battery, and it's arguably the most entertaining video that I've put out there. It's not an easy task moving these batteries. It's not that relevant to bus bars, but the reason why you're going to get bus bars is because you have more than one battery, so I've added that content in there. Finally, the fifth video is kind of the polishing up, the finishing it off, grounding the batteries, tidying up all of the cables and making it a little bit more presentable. So I've put that in there, even though it doesn't really add anything functional necessarily to the installation, to the project. It does tidy it up and it does kind of finish it off, more or less 99%. So without further ado, I'm going to let you get to the first video. Enjoy. How you doing, guys, and welcome back to the channel. So this video, as I'm sure you've gathered from the title, is about the Busbar planning and installation. Probably just installation is what's in the title. I haven't decided yet. So as you know, this has been racking my brain for weeks. Where do I install the Busbar system? Do I go top side? Do I put it in the units? Or do I go below? Right, so going below the cabinets was actually my favorite, and I'll have you know I haven't ruled anything out just yet, even though I'm going to start on this today. The reason why I wanted to do it underneath was this was going to be easy to access. It'd also be out of sight, out of mind, and it would be safe. Kids wouldn't even know that the cables were under there. So that's kind of where I was thinking there, but obviously I'd have a longer cable run, which you kind of want to avoid when you're talking about energy saving. I could live with a little bit of energy loss through heat with longer cables, but I have to consider the other options as well. My next preferred option would have been up high. And if somebody did suggest, oh well, you can put a piece of wood up there, attach your bus bars and attach your DC breakers to the piece of wood. The problem is not so much the access. It'd be easy enough for an adult to access up here to isolate the batteries. The problem was more installation. It's just awkward. It's a tight space. So you can kind of imagine trying to just get big thick cables bolted on and all that kind of stuff. Just a pain in the butt. So I don't think I'm going to go with this one here. My other option would have been to install it inside the cabinets. Now I had kind of ruled that out, and I'd ruled it out because of safety. I was thinking, okay, if there was a fire, there's no way to be able to access it. The breaker to isolate the batteries and whatnot. But then I kind of thought, holy shit, excuse the language, if there was a fire, I wouldn't be going anywhere near these things. Now I've picked up a fire extinguisher as a just in case, and I know these are LFP batteries. I mean, they generally don't combust anyway. They're pretty safe, but I consider them safe enough to have them stored outside the house. So take from that what you will. Anyway, I was going to put them kind of inside here, but I had ruled it out. But now I'm kind of, maybe I will, maybe I won't. So if you can bear with me for a minute, I had kind of decided last night that I was going to do that. I was going to put the breakers in there, and just underneath the breakers, then I'd install the Busbar. So I've got 3 DC breakers, 1 for each battery. So battery 1, battery 2, and battery that's in the living room that I haven't installed yet. I'll make a video of how difficult it is to get the battery into the side entrance here and up into this cabinet. I'm sure you'll find it quite entertaining. Anyway, that's kind of where I was. 3 cabinets, 3 batteries, 3 identical setups. What can go wrong? It was a great setup in my head until I realized these are 42 centimeters wide. Okay. The cabinets, they're a little bit wider. If I was thinking that I wanted to get a 4th battery, I'm not going to fit it here. I'm not going to get another cabinet here. Even if I did and the door closed, access is going to be a big issue. So I've absolutely ruled out putting another cabinet here. All right, now my next one. Well, if I wanted to get a 4th battery, I could always just, put it here. So it would kind of fill in this whole space. I really just don't want to do that. It kind of breaks up my nice little neat set of cabinets here, and then I'd be separating it, and then I'd have to run the Busbar along here and all this kind of stuff, and it's just, nah, I don't really want to be dealing with that and have to bury cables or work my way around it. It was just a pain. So I'm not going to do that. Getting back to it, 42 centimeters wide. All right, so that's 4 batteries. That's 168 centimeters. Call it 170 centimeters. I took a measurement. So basically, from the edge here to the edge here, with insulation installed, I have 210 centimeters. All right. Now, as you can see, that goes right the way through. So I've left the insides open. There's no need to separate them. And the only thing that's in the way is this supporting beam for the original cabinet, preventing, kind of the shelf from sagging. However, I have one of those beams right behind here, which supports this side. And then down on the 3rd cabinet, there's another one of those beams that's going behind this unit, behind this end piece, and which is now behind this insulation. So one long unit, and it only really needs those 2 supports. In fact, to be honest with you, it doesn't even really need those. These things are over-engineered to hell. I mean, I could put hundreds and hundreds of kilos onto these. They are very well made. They're solid. They don't even budge. They're held in with nice big thick blue tip concrete bolts. They're solid. They're not going anywhere. So if I was to remove that diagonal support, it would make not one bit of difference at all. So if I did want to add a 4th battery, I can. I have enough space. Now, the batteries would be a little bit closer together than the recommended 50 centimeters apart or 500 mil apart, but yeah, I could definitely live with that. And I'm thinking that's probably more of a thing in warmer climates. We don't get too much above 20 degrees Celsius here in Ireland. We start dying when it reaches 30 degrees Celsius on the 1 or 2 days a year that it might get there. So I think would be absolutely fine if I want to add a fourth battery. All right, guys, tangent over. That's kind of where my mind is. So as I say, I mean, there's kind of a lot going through my mind with this Busbar system, and I just want to get it right. So this is where I am now, right? I'm going to install for 3, but plan for the possibility of 4. The reason why I'm thinking I might not get 4 is because I can't charge 4 batteries. My main incoming supply is, at the moment, it's limited to 12 kVA. So when I'm charging the batteries for 4 hours in the early hours, so from 2 a.m. to 6 a.m., I'm charging these batteries on cheap night rate electricity. It's called the EV rate that I have here at the moment. And the rest of the time, the power is quite expensive. So the inverter will only give me 5 kilowatts at any one time. And if I want to add more, so that gives me 20 kilowatt hours over the course of the night. I'm actually going to add a DC to DC charger, which will give me another up to 3 kilowatts. So that will give me, I don't know, let's just say 30 kilowatt hours to be safe. At the moment, I have about, when I'll install the next battery, I'll have about 40 at the moment. So I'm kind of limited, really, when you think about it. With a little bit of a buffer, I'm limited to the 3 batteries, even when I add that DC to DC charger to the loop. So if I add a 4th battery, then I'm going to need to upgrade to an enhanced supply, which is a 16 kVA, which is about €2,000 on the electricity supply board side, and that's before I consider any little upgrades that I may need to do inside the house, which is pretty much just make my fuse board a little bit bigger and get an electrician to install. Okay, something I've got to think about. Right, so anyway, let's get back to this. Sorry guys. So I have one of these 125 amp DC breakers or isolators. Okay, here we are. Right, here's where I am. I can install one here for battery number 1. Install one here to isolate battery number 2. Install one here to isolate battery number 3, and then I'll have space if I want to install battery number 4. That's kind of where I am. I think that probably makes the most sense. Now, there is a possibility that I can, look, this is, nobody's going to bump into it or anything, but maybe just to make it a little bit neater, what I might do is I might just cut out a little bit here. I can always add a little bit of reinforcements, a couple of pieces of flat steel or something just to reinforce this, and kind of dig it in there, make it that little bit neater. It also means that I wouldn't have to run any cable out here. All of the cable would be kept inside the unit, so I might actually look at doing that to keep it neat and tidy, and that little bit safer. So if I have the fuses here, right, so let's say I have one of the breakers here or isolators here, what I'll do is I'll then run the cables back there, and I'll have the bus bars just on the back there as well. So there won't be any wood exposed or anything like that. Everything is going to be covered up here. As you can see, I have this steel foil tape, so everything's going to be covered up there and as safe as can possibly be. So all the bus bars will be up the top, out of the way, definitely out of sight, out of mind. And finally, they will come through to the other side here, and then we'll have a main bus bar where I'm going to connect larger cables, 35 mil square cables going from the making up the bus bar, and if I can, I'm not sure if I can fit them on here, I do have the connectors, but I'm not sure they're actually going to fit here. I think these only take the 25 square, but if I can, I'll get them to take the 35 square. I'm also going to have a fuse in between the inverter and the bus bar as well. So that's kind of where I'm, that's where I'm thinking. I think that's going to be the plan. All right, keep watching and find out.